Things going on. One state's got some trouble, and for us here in South Australia, we're probably as close to normal as we're going to get for quite a while. So we might move through and have a look. So around the world, now 11.4 million, and it was 2 months ago there was 1 million. And it's going up by more than a million a week now. And in fact, the last 2 days have been more than 200,000 more cases per day. So that's not great. And if you have a look at that little picture, you can see that some of the countries that are running into trouble now are countries without very robust health systems, is probably the best way to put it. And that doesn't look so great for some places. If we have a look at Australia's numbers, the last 4 weeks we've got 50, then 135, then 214, and this week 550 odd. Is this our second wave? I actually don't think it is. I think we should be calling it more of a hiccup. If we have a look at the pictures there, the one with blue's Victoria. The black down the bottom is New South Wales. There's a tiny bit of green, which is us. And I'm actually not quite sure what the others are. I think there's one in WA and I think there's one in Northern Territory. You have a look at the other picture that's got pink and purple and black. Black you can class as the safe infections. There people have been found while they've been in hotel quarantine. The other two colours, they all mean about the same. They mean people who weren't in quarantine at the time they were found to be infected. So the chance of those people having spread it. So let's have a look at Victoria. So they've currently got over 500 active cases, but not many people in hospital, which is good. If we have a look at where they're at with what they're doing about it, well, we're probably all aware there's 12 suburbs in lockdown. I'm not sure if everyone's aware that 4 p.m. yesterday, they put 3,000 odd people living in high-rise apartments in what we in SA would call housing trust, but sort of government housing, were put into immediate lockdown. So not allowed to leave home for any reason whatsoever. As of 4 p.m, that's it, you're done. And obviously that's a very big step to make, and that's the first in Australia where that's happened. And I think that's really the thing that for me, who is digging into some background information with this and looking at what's going on, that's actually one of the most reassuring things for me personally as for how much trouble is Australia in, because we've bought ourselves time. So if you look at Victoria's numbers in that picture there, 28th of March was when they were at 111 cases, and yesterday was 108 cases. And over those couple of months, or over those few months, we've actually had time to build systems, to build capacity to deal with the testing and the treating, and to work out how to manage this best. So there's a lot more information out there. So when you're looking at these numbers and people start talking about a second wave and that we're all in trouble and this and that and the other is going to happen, if we actually look at what's really going on, and at the moment they've got a reasonable handle, I wouldn't say they have a good handle, but they've got a reasonable handle on where the infections are coming from. And if people actually do the right thing, they'll get control of that. But that's that little bit that goes in there, if the people do the right thing. If people follow the advice and follow the guidance, then things will get back under control. South Australia. I had a look, and unfortunately I had to calculate this by writing down each of the numbers and summing them up. We've done almost 53,000 tests in June, and they're a very broad thing. So there's been some people tested obviously when they've come over interstate borders. There's been people coming in from internationally being tested. But a lot of these tests are, if you've rung up me as your GP, or if you've come to see me as your GP and I've thought you've had any sort of respiratory condition whatsoever, then you've got a test. And I've been sending 10, 15, 20 people a day to get a test. And so we're very certain that in South Australia, we have a good handle on what's going on because we're testing broadly. And that comes down to everyone owning up when they're unwell. Yes, I'm unwell, I need a test. And if we keep doing that in South Australia, we're very safe. And that's why we're at the state we are with restrictions, where it's one person per every 2 square metres. And this sort of hazy, we need to try and stay 1.5 metres away from each other. And I think for the people who are here today, I'm glad to see you here, and we're confident that it's very safe for you to be here. Probably not many people are aware there's been a group of us working very hard at keeping track of what's going on, what the government advises, and how far can we push things to make sure people can be here safely. And that's something we're continuing to work on, and we're working on how to get more people here and how we do that safely, how we open up the creches again and those sort of things. But the one thing I really would want to say is that we're confident that if the people who are here follow the rules, so if you're sick, you don't come. And if you do come, you endeavour to stay away from people who aren't already close contacts, then you're very safe to be here. And for those at home who are thinking about it, and maybe today we're a bit worried about coming, we'd like to encourage you that this is a safe place to be, and would love to see you when you feel comfortable to be here. We certainly won't be turning off that live stream anytime soon, but would really like to encourage that it is safe for you to be here. So really, as Darren's tip for this week, I'd like to say that really what we want to see is we don't want COVID-19 to redefine your relationship with God. And there's one little caveat there. If over this time you've been logging into our live streams and you've seen your relationship with God can be bigger, then we'd like to encourage you to come down and find out more. But for those of us who have really grown up knowing this is the way, that coming here on a Sunday and a Wednesday, often on a Saturday, is a place where you get fed, where your soul gets fed, would like to see you back here. So in Philippians chapter 4, those things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the God of peace shall be with you. And I guess really what we're looking for there is to follow that and to see that if we trust that God's got his hand on this and that your fellowship is doing what it can to make sure you're safe, that we'll all be able to feel that peace that comes from God. Thank you, everyone.